My birthday was last week, during which the internet seemed fascinated by everyday objects that turned out to be actually cake. So I'm going to make a cake that is actually just an everyday object. Not that my video needs a preface like this because I make weird clothing without a reason all the time. But this video is for that. And for hat. And for cat. Hey! Plates, foam, tape, some other things. This is all you need if you too want to make an excessive display of hubris such as this. Real cake is temporary. Fake cake is eternally aesthetically pleasing, won't betray you, and is very difficult to ignore. After taping 4 foam sheets together, I used a compass to make one circle for my head and one for the brim of the hat. And just in case, I cut the circle for my head smaller than I marked it, because if it's too small I can cut more, but it's harder to add back to it if I cut too much. Does that make sense? Head big, foam small. No cut too big. Glue the edges together before removing all the tape, and I recommend either contact cement or hot glue. The side of the hat is just a rectangle pieced together from leftover foam. I want the cake to be leaning to one side, so I've gone back and cut an angle on each of the rectangles. And I'm using paper plates in between the layers to help keep it lightweight, and because the plate curves in a way that'll help give the appearance of thicker icing later on. Why did I decide specifically on making a hat? Don't know, but it do be cute. And it is known that putting random things on your head is universally funny and likable. For the icing, you could use all sorts of methods for this one, but I'm using foam clay because I want it to be a little cartoonish and messy since everything is already leaning to one side. That and Sleeping Beauty gave me unrealistic expectations of cake. I went ahead and made some strawberries just out of the foam clay so they could dry and be painted by the time the hat was ready for them. But this could be so many other things than just strawberries, like chocolate pieces or gummy bears. And if you aren't good at sculpting, no big deal. Just buy a bunch of candy molds and then all you have to be good at is smushing clay into things. You don't even have to use your hands. I don't know if this made any difference in the end, but in an attempt to get a cake-like texture, I stippled a bunch of tacky glue on the surface. At the very least, this helped prime it before painting, which are the next steps. Priming and then painting. I love making things that look like dessert, but I don't really have a sweet tooth for the real stuff. Like, since I can remember, when given a slice of birthday cake or cupcake, I would just chop off the top layer of icing and banish it to the other side of the plate. This was sacrilege to the other kids. The highest of crimes. Perhaps this is my repentance. This is where I goofed and poured out an entire tube of silicone to mix instead of portioning it out so that it wouldn't dry up. Because once it was in the piping bag, it dried up. So in my panic of not wanting to waste anything, I cut open the bag and used a palette knife to smush on the drying silicone as if it were frosting. Not a step I was originally going to include, but I'm kind of glad that's how it worked out. I still wanted the cute piping details though, so I just did it piece by funneling foam clay into the nozzle. It's fine, this is fine. Now to correctly use the silicone in the piping bag by only filling it up a little bit at a time. My piping skills aren't the best, but in my defense this is my first time decorating a cake. Besides, it goes with the theme of the cake being a little messy. All that's left is a little smidge of silicone at the top with the last candle and strawberry. Heck! It's a hat. It weighs a little more than a hat probably should, but that's to be expected when it's a 3-tier cake hat made out of plastic. I guess that makes this a pound cake. I really like it, even if it doesn't match literally anything else I own. Hello, sir. Do you like my hat? No, it's not real food. 0 out of 10. Nah, he's not that mean. Also, he can't count the 10. Well, that's how to make a hat that looks like cake. Thanks for watching.